Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anthony Fagen. I am the office supervisor and a tax preparer for Liberty Tax Service located in Vallejo, California. And we are here today as part of the Liberty Tax Service webinar series. It's a series of events we're broadcasting through Google Hangouts online, on air. And after the broadcast, you can check out the video through YouTube, where we'll be talking about various subjects that are important to taxpayers out there. We do want to let you know up front that, of course, this is a presentation regarding tax information. It is general information for the public and for anybody watching. You should not use it as the sole source of authority or information with regards to your own personal tax situation. We suggest that you contact your Liberty tax professional or tax preparer or an attorney if you have questions regarding the material we're going to present today. And today's topic we're going to be discussing today is the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare. And as you all know right about now, this is a very important topic. It is the likeliest of topics that is going to make a big difference in the world when it comes to our society, our taxes, especially this coming year. And it's important for you because it is the law. It is the law of the land. It has been for some time now. And it's important that we discuss that and you understand it for everybody. So what we'd like to do today is go over the Affordable Care Act, and I'm going to be sharing the slide presentation with you in just a moment here. Let me just get this up the screen that I can see, and there we go. Okay, as I mentioned, this is the Affordable Care Act seminar. We're going to be talking over a few things today that you'd like to know about it. We're going to explain what is the Affordable Care Act, give you a little bit of a background. We're going to discuss what the individual mandate is. That is important to all of you out there, what it means to you. We'll explain what the marketplace is, who qualifies for the marketplace to use it. I'll go over what resources are available to you, and finally, we'll give you some information if you have questions about the Affordable Care Act, who to contact, and some more details regarding that. So many of you, I'm sure, know what the Affordable Care Act is. If you've heard the term Obamacare, that's certainly what it's also called. The Patient Protection and Health Care Act, or Healthcare Affordability Act, is more of its legal title, but the ACA, or the Affordable Care Act, is how you're going to know what the item is. So to give you a little bit of a background, Congress passed the Affordable Care Act back in 2010. It requires all Americans to have some form of health insurance. Now, the goal of the act was to help control the increasing cost of health care and to establish affordable health care insurance options for everybody. Now, there are millions of people today that still do not have health insurance. At the last count, when the Affordable Care Act was put into play, there were about 7.5 to 8 million individuals that took advantage of getting health care through one of the health care exchanges this past year. But there's still quite a few people who do not have health insurance out there. It's because simply they can't afford it, or they have a pre-existing condition that stops them from getting coverage, or they have just decided that they do not want the coverage at all. The point of today's presentation is how is the Affordable Care Act going to affect you? Just to kind of give you a little bit of a statement here. We know that this is a very divisive issue. It's also a very topical issue. People have different points of view as to whether we should have health care, we should have the Affordable Care Act in place. There are some that are very much for it. There are some that are very much against it. If you've been keeping an eye on Congress and even on the courts, there have been rulings for and against Obamacare. There have been attempts to repeal the law. But until such time as the law is officially repealed, and until such time as the Supreme Court may act on this again, the court has made the decision that this is the law. It is the law of the land. And we're here really just to give you an educational background on the Affordable Care Act itself. We're not here to politicize. We can all take sides on this, no matter which way you want to, but it is the law of the land, and we're here to give you the education about the act for your benefit. So here's a little bit of a timeline, some of the key dates that people need to know about the Affordable Care Act. In March of 2010, President Obama signed the Affordable Care Act into law. At the time, there were challenges from states and other individuals that said that the law should not have been placed into effect. The Supreme Court took up the case of Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act to determine, was it legal? Did it meet certain clauses under the law? And the Supreme Court upheld on June 28th of 2012, that the Affordable Care Act was to be law. In October 1st of 2013, the insurance marketplaces began open enrollment. At that time, just so you know, insurance can be obtained through a number of different sources. The marketplace is one of them. Your job is another. Medicare or Medicaid is also an option to obtain health care if you qualify. Now, January 1st of last year, the individual mandate took effect. As of that date last year, and with a little bit of a grace period, you were required under the law to obtain a form of health insurance. And that health insurance also had to meet minimum standards. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Now, for employers, originally, large employers, those that have 50 or more employees, we're going to be required as well to offer insurance under the Affordable Care Act. However, that provision of the law has been delayed. That won't actually take place now until January 1st of next year. And during next year, 2015, when you are filing your taxes for this year, you will be adding to your 1040 form certain lines that say, I either received premium credits, I qualified for an exemption, or I'm going to have to pay a penalty. Now you're wondering, what is that all about? Well, we have reached an intersection in the road. Because in the past, healthcare has basically been its own course, and taxes have been on their own. They followed their own two different paths. But now with the passing of the Affordable Care Act, these two are now intersecting. And we're here to help you. Liberty is here to help you understand what that's all about. So with the intersecting of healthcare and taxes, there's three options that people have currently this year in 2014. You've had to obtain either minimum essential coverage, or if you do not have qualifying coverage, you will be subject to paying a penalty, and we'll explain what the penalties are in a minute. Or when you file your taxes in 2015, you may be able to claim an exemption to having health insurance on your taxes. So let's talk a bit about the individual mandate. Mandate basically means it's something that's mandated. It is required. Under the law, it means every individual is required to maintain minimum essential coverage for themselves and for their dependents. There are some exemptions, but we'll cover those a little bit later on. But again, if you have a family of 4, you are responsible to ensure that everyone in your family has some form of health insurance or a penalty may apply unless you qualify for an exemption in that instance. Now let's talk a bit about the benefits of the Affordable Care Act. As I mentioned, pre-existing conditions typically before prevented people from getting health insurance. I'll give you myself as an example. I am a diabetic. I've had diabetes since 1989. I am suffering the complications of diabetes now from eye problems, kidney problems, and the like. If I were to, before the Affordable Care Act took effect, went to go get a health care policy on my own, not through a guaranteed issue from work, not through any other source, I very well could have been disqualified from getting insurance. Because it's a pre-existing health condition, obviously it means more costs to care for those conditions. Under the Affordable Care Act, individuals can no longer be denied coverage for any pre-existing condition. So if you have asthma, cancer, some other type of medical condition like diabetes, or you've been diagnosed in the past, you still will be able to purchase a health insurance policy without being denied about your pre-existing condition. Insurance also used to put dollar limits, or would put dollar limits on how much coverage they would take place in an individual year. They would put caps on your insurance saying that it will only pay up to a certain amount. Under the Affordable Care Act, insurers can no longer set an annual limit on how much they will pay for individual medical expenses. There may be lifetime limits to policies, but there no longer can be an annual limit. And all health insurance policies have to include what is called minimal essential benefits. And what are those benefits? Any individual health insurance policy has to include one of these or all of these benefits to be considered minimal essential coverage. Maternity care, that's prenatal care at the time of birth and postnatal care. Anytime you are hospitalized for any reason, any emergency services, whether they're done in the emergency room or they happen to be urgent care, any lab services such as blood work, pediatric care for your children, preventative care like flu shots, cancer screenings, and the like, rehabilitative and habilitative services, basically any physical therapy would be covered, any outpatient or ambulatory care, any vision or dental care for your children, not for adults, but for your children is covered, and any mental health or substance abuse treatment. Policies now must meet all of these minimum essential requirements to be considered as an eligible plan for health care under the Affordable Care Act. Now, there's some key points that people do need to know. How do you know if you're going to have to pay a premium? How do you know how much of a premium you're going to have to pay? And in turn, possibly how much of a penalty are you going to have to pay? Well, there's two numbers that people are going to look at when determining what your insurance premium will cost you. Obviously, your income is important, any of your earned income. We're also going to look at what the federal poverty level is. These are numbers set forth by the government to determine what is the minimum level of amount of money depending on the size of the household and the number of dependents that would meet the poverty line, as it sometimes is called. Now, how that typically is determined is going to be from your tax return when you file it, and it will also determine what your modified adjusted gross income is going to be, and we'll talk about that in a second. So what you're looking at right now is the poverty level for 2014. So for example, if you were a single person, to meet 100% of the poverty level, your income had to be at least $11,670. If you were less, you were considered impoverished at that point. The federal poverty level also determines your eligibility for certain programs in the government. And they range anywhere, in looking at the level, from 100% to up to 400%. So for a single individual, under the federal poverty level, the most you can make as a single person to be considered meeting the poverty level is $46,680. If you had a family of four, including yourself, you can make anywhere from $23,850 up to $95,400. And as you have more than four people in your household, those numbers go up accordingly. And again, those figures are determined every year. The Department of Health and Human Services is the government agency that determines those amounts. It would also include your calculating your eligibility if you were to be covered for Medicaid or the Children's Health Insurance Program, CHIP, as it sometimes is called. So generally speaking, your modified adjusted gross income is your adjusted gross income. That means any income you have earned, plus any tax-exempt income, such as Social Security, any bank interest, any foreign interest you have. And that figure would determine your eligibility for the lower costs in the marketplace, and obviously qualifying for Medicaid and for CHIP. So when you purchase health insurance coverage through the marketplace, you may be able to get a lower cost on your premium. It's going to, again, depend on your income, your family size, and your tax credits that you can receive based on that. You can use those right away to be able to reduce the cost of your monthly premiums, or you could choose to either have the premiums applied on a monthly basis up to a maximum amount, or you can get the credit reconciled on your tax return later as a refund. And any advanced premium tax credits that you get will also be reconciled on your tax returns. And the assistance, though, is paid directly to the insurance company on those advanced premium tax credits. So some of the premium tax credits you will get, if you get the advanced premium tax credits, they typically will go directly to the insurance company. In other words, you will not see the money directly in that instance. Now, most people were wondering, well, I'm not going to have insurance. I may not meet an exemption. So what's this about a penalty? Well, for the next 3 years and thereafter, if you do not have health insurance for any reason, you may be subject to what is called an individual shared responsibility payment, or a penalty. So for 2014, we're going to look at your taxable income. The minimum amount that you would have be penalized would be $95 if you're a single person. And that's per person, per adult, in the family. If it is a child, it's a half that amount. So if it was $95, it would be $47.50 per child. Now there is a maximum up to a family. For a family of four, the maximum penalty would be $285. Now again, what is the greater of that? It's either going to be 1% of your taxable income, or at a minimum $95. If you are a family of four, the minimum penalty is $285, or 1% of your taxable income. For the next 2 years, those amounts are going to increase. So if you do not have health insurance at all throughout the 2015 year, you'll pay a penalty of between $325 and $975 at a minimum, or 2% of your taxable income. And in 2016, that goes up to 2.5%, or between $695 and $2,085 respectively, whether you're a single individual or a family of four. After 2016, these rates are going to be adjusted based on the rate of inflation. So penalties could be very significant for not having an insurance. It's very important, obviously, to recognize the way the penalty is established. It's 1% again of your income, but note it's whichever is greater. And here at Liberty and any tax preparation office, we can help you calculate what your potential penalty could be. Now, we've been talking a bit about what is considered the marketplace. Now, for example, here in California, we have a program that is called Covered California. It is the state-run marketplace. As you know, healthcare.gov is the national marketplace that's available for all of the states. Not every state participates in its own state program. There are also some private exchanges that have been set up, private marketplace programs that have been set up. But basically, the marketplace is available to any of the following. Anybody without insurance that is offered through their job. If the employer's plan does not meet minimum essential coverage, if coverage through their employer is more than 9.5% of their self-made income, their only income, or for any small business that has less than 100 employees to want to purchase insurance for them through the plan. The marketplace is open to those individuals to get that information. So not only can you purchase your health insurance through the marketplace, but you can also get information and assistance. So when you fill out your application for health insurance through the marketplace, there's going to be a determination made whether you qualify for Medicaid, whether you qualify for the CHIP program, or whether you qualify to get financial assistance through one of the premium tax credits. Now, again, let me stress, if you do not have health insurance through your job, or you're getting it through one of the other reasons, it's more than a certain percentage of your income or the like, the marketplace is really the area you would go to. This is different than Medicare. Medicare eligibility, unless you have a qualifying medical condition, obviously Medicare kicks in at a certain age. However, Medicare Part A is minimum essential coverage, because some people have asked that even of me. If you have just Medicare Part B, you do not have minimum essential coverage. If you have Medicare A and B, you have minimum essential coverage because your Part A insurance meets the guidelines as set forth under the law. Just a point of reference for you with that. Now, I know it's a little maybe hard to see here, but let me kind of point out something to you. Most states, as you can see in the yellow, have their own programs, or they are going forward this time and will not expand Medicaid in their states. The states that are in the dark blue, including California, have expanded their Medicaid programs. They've basically opened the enrollment to a much larger population within those states. That also includes in the District of Columbia. So there are right now 27 states that are participating. 5 states, which are Utah, Missouri, Indiana, Pennsylvania, and Virginia, are still making a determination whether they want to expand the program or not. Also, there have been, as I mentioned before, there have been court rulings that have either gone in favor of or have gone against certain provisions of the Affordable Care Act when it comes to subsidies. The District Court in District of Columbia, Federal District Court in Columbia has said that the provisions may not meet those requirements, yet the state of Virginia said yes, they do. Oklahoma just came out with a ruling yesterday that said subsidies cannot be given to individuals if they're not participating in the plan. All of those cases are being stayed because they're either going to go to a higher court or a full appeals court in the district, or eventually will go to the Supreme Courts. As I mentioned before, until the law is repealed or the law has changes made to it, what we're discussing here is the current law of the land as it stands right now. So right now there are only 14 states that are offering their own exchanges according to the guidelines as they set forth. Now this is important for everyone. Currently right now, you cannot obtain insurance through the healthcare exchanges. You only can obtain insurance through the healthcare exchange in one of two ways. Either it is the open enrollment period, or there has been a qualifying life event that will allow you to make a change when it is not in the enrollment period. Only exception is Medicare and CHIP. Otherwise, to obtain health insurance through the healthcare exchanges, on November 15th, the exchanges will open to take applications and to begin to process people to get plans into place for 2015. So this coming November, you have from November 15th through February 15th of 2015 in order to obtain health insurance for 2015. Beginning in 2016 and going forward from there, you are only going to be able to get your enrollment done between October 15th and December 7th. Again, this is just involving the exchanges. This is not involving your work insurance. Your work will have different open enrollment periods that are required, both under law and at the convenience of the employer through whatever health plan that they use. So you need to check with your plan administrator or your benefits officer at your job to determine when your open enrollment period is for next year for that. But again, this is just for the exchange that these open enrollment dates will apply. As I mentioned, if you have a qualifying life event, you can obtain insurance outside of the open enrollment period. If your household size changes, if you have a baby and you become a family of 3, any circumstances that change, you may have lost your job, you may have had a downgrade in your job, you may have had an increase in your job, you've gotten a raise. Your status changes, you're no longer a single, you become married, or you become a widow. If you are a member of a federally recognized Indian tribe, any tribe that is recognized by the federal government through the Bureau of Indian Affairs, or if you are viewing this in Alaska, you're a member of the Alaska Native Corporation Shareholders Group, you can receive insurance outside of the open enrollment period. Now, there is a time frame that if this happens, if you work and you have your insurance plan through your job, you typically only have 30 days to report a life change to your insurance. Well, the marketplace, if you obtain through the marketplace, you have 60 days. It is very important, though, that any sort of life change, any sort of income change, because of the effect of the premium tax credits or the potential of a penalty, has to be reported to the exchange or to your job for the coming year. Now, as I mentioned, there are exemptions to how to pay a penalty. If you're uninsured for a period of less than 3 months during the year, if your coverage is more than 8% of your household income at the lowest qualifying rate, the cheapest qualifying rate. There are 4 covered type of plans. They're bronze, silver, gold, and I believe platinum plans. So, for example, if your income was more than 8% of, say, the lowest price bronze plan, you can qualify for an exemption in that instance. Excuse me. Now, if your income is too low to be required to file taxes, you also qualify for an exemption. It still has to be reported. But if you file a tax return and your income is less than the minimum requirement to file, say you work and you're single and you make under $10,000, you do not necessarily have to file a tax return unless you are trying to get back any of your federal taxes that were withheld from your paycheck on your W-2. This coming year, if you're doing that, you're also stating by filing your tax return that you're not making enough income to qualify, and you would be able to qualify for an exemption in that instance. That's something you definitely want to discuss with the tax preparer this year. If you're a member, as I said, of a federally recognized Native American tribe, tribe that is recognized by the federal government, Cherokee, Chippewa, as examples, you are a member of one of those tribes, you qualify for an exemption. If you are a member of a healthcare sharing ministry, there are ministries out there that their sole primary operation is healthcare, or you're a member of a religious sect that conscientiously opposes to receiving benefits, that means even Social Security, insurance, or Medicare, you qualify for an exemption. If you or someone you know is currently imprisoned or is incarcerated, they qualify for an exemption. If you are not legally present in the United States, again, as I mentioned, every legal adult in the United States must qualify. Every adult who is not legally present in the United States qualifies for an exemption. Or you have some form of a hardship. Now, one note I do want to point out here on these exemptions. Most of these will be able to be reported on your taxes. Some have to be reported through the healthcare exchange. So when you have a qualifying event or one of these applies to you, and you currently have your insurance through your healthcare exchange, you will want to contact the exchange first to see if they need to be notified or that you can wait until you file your taxes in 2015. Now at Liberty Tax, we do have a couple of resources we can offer you to assist you in getting insurance or getting you through the Health Care Act itself. We do have a great website that's called healthcaretaxinfo.com. It explains the Health Care Act, Affordable Care Act to you. There's also calculators on there that will help you determine, what's a potential tax credit for you, what is your potential penalty as well, that if you do not have health insurance, what you may end up having to pay. So that is a great website. Again, it's healthcaretaxinfo.com. Liberty also does operate its own private exchange. You can go to libertyhealthexchange.com. It'll assist you in signing up for health insurance coverage. We're looking obviously to be a one-stop shop for you for health insurance and for taxes throughout the year. Other resources that are out there for you that are not listed on this slide, but I will mention, particularly for the states, your state plan is available to you. Again, here in California, that is Covered California is the state-run plan. Healthcare.gov is the federal plan that you can obtain information on. Everything you wanted to know about the Affordable Care Act is available there. And certainly, if you live in a different state, you may certainly want to check with your state's health and human services agencies to determine what is out there to look at. There are plenty of resources also through the IRS website at irs.gov. in your state's websites where necessary, on their government websites. They will also talk about the Affordable Care Act. Now, I know there's a lot that we have gone through here today. Again, the key thing for everyone to know is this is the law of the land. You are required to have health insurance. You may be able to get premium tax credits that will help to reduce the cost of your insurance. If you do not have health insurance, you may, unless you meet an exemption, have to pay a penalty on your taxes next year. The IRS the other day held a webinar for tax preparers, and it was mentioned to us there are going to be at least 2 to 4 lines added to the 1040 form this year for everybody. The long form, the EZ, and the 1040A forms. There's also going to be a new 1099 that is going to be issued primarily through the exchanges that will talk about premium tax credits issued. That's going to be an important form that will be going out to people at the end of January, just as any other 1099 form would be. It's going to be important to have that when you file your taxes next year. There are worksheets that tax preparers will be going over with you when you file your taxes next year to determine if you're going to need to pay a penalty, if you have the premium tax credits and like. So this is the time of the year, you want to be ready for 2015, and your tax planning, I cannot stress enough, doesn't end on April 15th. Your tax planning is a year-round event. So if you have any questions about what you've read here, seen here today on the webinar, and you want to speak to a Liberty Tax professional in your area, you can give us a call. Our toll-free number is 866-871-1040. Again, that's 866-871-1040. Or you can go out to our main website, which is www.libertytax.com. On the homepage, you can put in your zip code or an address, and you can find the nearest location to you. And you can call to either set up an appointment or come in on when our office is open, and we can talk to you a bit about the Affordable Care Act or any other tax issues that you may have. Also, if you are with a group, an organization, or a small business, and you would like to have us come into your office or to your group and present this seminar or any other seminars that we do offer, which we do absolutely free. We do it as an educational means to the public. It's one of our goals and one of our missions here at Liberty Tax. We're more than happy to do that. Again, you call our local office and we can assist you with that. As a point of reference, if you are in the Vallejo, California area and you have any questions about this presentation, you can contact me directly. Again, my name is Anthony Fagen, F-A-G-E-N. I can be reached by email at anthony.fagen@libtax, libtax.com, or you can call our office in Vallejo. We are at 764 Admiral Callaghan Lane. We're right next to Safeway and the Golden One Credit Union. If you're driving along Interstate 80, we're conveniently located right off the Redwood Street exits. And you'll come right onto Admiral Callaghan Lane and you'll see our offices there. You can also call us at 707-552-3278. And again, I'll repeat that, 707-552-3278. And you can get some more information from us, not just about our seminars and the Affordable Care Act, but any tax questions that you may have, we're more than happy to answer. So with that, that is the presentation today on the Affordable Care Act. We do thank you for joining us. This presentation is going to be made available on YouTube if you missed anything. You can certainly watch the YouTube presentation once it becomes available, and that should be sometime later today. If for any reason you have any problems or you need to get a link to that, again, you can contact me here at Liberty Tax, and I'll be happy to forward you the email information. So again, I thank you very much for joining me today on this presentation. Thank you for listening with Liberty Tax Service, and we hope to be your tax professional in the upcoming year. Thank you.